Mayor. Thank you, Chief, for your strong leadership during this crisis. I'm joined today by Senator Smith, as well as Representatives McCollum and Morrison, and joining us in a statement are Representatives Craig and Omar. Our message is really clear and straightforward. We need ICE out of Minnesota. They are not making us more safe. As the tragic killing this morning, as people saw it viscerally on that video, shows us they are making us less safe. With 3,000 agents, which of course includes border control, outnumbering the sworn police officers in Minneapolis and St. Paul by 3 to 1, and even larger than the 10 metropolitan police departments, this is completely out of whack, completely out of balance, and now 3 people have been shot, 2 resulting in death. 1, Renee Good, mother of 3, and now Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old Minneapolis man, a citizen, also a nurse. They both have families that love them very much. This city has been under siege, and I want to make something clear. As the mayor and the police chief are doing their job for this city, it's not just the cities. It's not just Minneapolis and St. Paul, as you'll hear from the members of Congress. It is the suburbs where kids have been lured in and abducted. It is small towns all across our state, rural areas. This has gone way beyond some stated purpose of the fraud investigation or apprehending violent offenders. That's not what this is about anymore when you have 3,000 agents overwhelming sworn police officers. I took part in that peaceful and powerful march yesterday, all those peaceful people. And then we wake up this morning to this horror. As members of Congress, we are calling on this administration to get ICE out of our towns, off of our streets. It will make us more safe. We, as a congressional group up here, strongly opposed the ICE funding this week. We opposed it this summer when our Republican colleagues tripled the budget, $75 billion. It is now more than the FBI. They reduced the training from 5 months to 47 days. And these are the results. We are also calling for a full and transparent investigation. We have done this before in Minnesota, coordinating with local and state and federal law enforcement. And if they're not going to do it, then they need to get out of the way and allow our very professional Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to conduct the investigation into these killings. And finally, we call on our Republican colleagues to stand with us. I know they know what's going on here because it's happening in their own districts. We have, of course, these shootings, but it is a lot more than that. They know that something's wrong when a Hmong elder is pulled out of a house in his underwear and slippers, and they figure out about an hour later they got the wrong guy, and in fact the guy they were looking for is actually in jail. Or a 2-year-old, a case my office worked on, in addition to hundreds more, who's taken with her dad and then put on a plane to Texas when her mom is desperately trying to get her. We got her back, but none of this should be happening, none of it. So we call on our Republican colleagues to join us because we have warned this administration, I have personally warned them that there would be more deaths, that more of this would happen, and clearly they're not listening. So we ask people around the country to talk to their Republican representatives to make clear that this is not the America that is ours. This has got to stop. And with that, I turn it over to my colleague, Senator Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today, federal agents beat and then shot multiple times and killed 37-year-old Alex Jeffrey Preddy, a U.S. citizen, a Minneapolis resident, and a VA nurse. Eyewitness video shows, once again, reckless, violent, and dangerous federal agents taking the life of a Minnesotan. And rather than following standard law enforcement practice, which is focused on public safety and de-escalation, they have killed another person. And the Trump administration has already called Alex Preddy a domestic terrorist. He was a nurse. We send our heartfelt condolences to his family and to his friends. And all Americans should be outraged at this unaccountable, violent federal force which is operating with impunity in our city. And you need to know, America, that if it can happen here, it can happen in your community too. So we gather here to say, first, I want to say to the President, you must stop Operation Metro Surge immediately and send these ICE agents home so our communities can be safe. Second, it is essential that trusted, impartial state investigators at the BCA are allowed to fully investigate what happened here today. Third, I urge my neighbors to express our grief and outrage at this killing and at the federal invasion of our cities peacefully and with the love that we showed yesterday when so many thousands of us showed up in support of our community. And finally, we must have our Republicans in Congress, they must join with us to condemn this violent and unfettered violent abuse of power and to stop it. And they can do that by refusing to fund this agency so long as it continues to kill and terrorize Americans. That is what Senator Klobuchar and I will be working on in the United States Senate. And I just want to close by thanking so much the local law enforcement and fire departments, not only here in Minneapolis, but all across the state that have been doing everything that they could, everything that you can to keep our cities safe. I once worked in City Hall, and I know what it's like, and I am so grateful for their relentless work to keep our communities safe. Representative McCollum.
Well, we have a saying in Congress that we agree and reflect in our remarks those that have spoken before us. So I'm going to take a slightly different tact. You know, today, this morning, Saturday, we lost another life, and it didn't have to be that way. To all the protesters who have been out there peacefully protesting, who have been harmed and injured, it shouldn't be happening to you either. But I want to take a second, as Senator Smith was, just to reflect on the community. St. Paul stands with you, Minneapolis. The East and West Metro, we're united, as well as all Minnesotans. My phones have been ringing off the hook from frustrated members of communities that are asking me to talk to their Republican members of Congress to do something about the escalation of chaos and violence that has been caused by the presence of the Department of Homeland Security. Representative Morrison and I, along with Representative Omar and Craig, had an opportunity to show with our votes on the House floor just this week how disappointed we are that the President refuses to listen. Oh, well, we're more than disappointed. We are outraged. Part of the bill that was on the floor was to provide more body cameras for ICE. Well, they have them already in the thousands, and they refuse to wear them. So, Secretary Noem, have your officers suit up and put on their body cameras, just like our law enforcement does. To our law enforcement here, we appreciate you, especially those of you who have been working the extra shifts. To the school boards, to the community service volunteers, everybody out there in this community, you make us so proud to represent you in the United States Congress. We hold our head up high with how Minnesota is reacting to this. We celebrate 250 years of this United States of America. And I'll close with quoting Benjamin Franklin. He came out of the Constitutional Convention and he said, it's a republic if you can keep it. Well, we're showing we want to keep it a republic with peaceful protesting. Stay calm, be safe, take care of one another. And when you see a National Guards person out there trying to relieve one of our police officers, know that they're there to protect you. So please respect everyone out there trying to keep us safe. And with that, I'd like to welcome up my colleague from the West Metro, Representative Morrison.
Thank you, Representative McCollum. You know, the day after tens of thousands of Minnesotans showed the world how to stand up peacefully against this administration's cruelty, lawlessness, and unacceptable occupation, and demand that ICE leave our state and end this federal invasion, the world is watching yet again as one of Donald Trump's federal agents have shot and killed another United States citizen in broad daylight in the middle of the street. First, we lost Renee Nicole Good, and now Alex Jeffrey Preddy, a 37-year-old man, a Minnesotan, an ICU nurse, a resident looking out for his neighbors as Minnesotans always do. And I do want to pause and offer my deepest sympathy and profound condolences to Mr. Preddy's family and friends. I am so sorry for your unimaginable loss. And we are once again now being asked to deny what we saw with our own eyes. We watched the videos of a masked federal agent shooting Alex in the back multiple times while he was pinned down by more than 6 other masked federal agents. And once again, DHS has come out with a predetermined narrative that contradicts everything we saw with our own eyes. 2 37-year-old Minnesotans are now dead, a poet and a nurse. For what? We cannot lose any more lives. We need a full, transparent, and comprehensive investigation led by our BCA. And ICE and Border Patrol need to halt all operations in the state and leave immediately. And Congress cannot be complicit in facilitating these lethal operations and federal occupation of our cities. We are standing here as a united front today, pleading for our Republican colleagues who control the Congress and who took the same oath to defend the Constitution and uphold the rule of law that we did, to stand up and stop this. Put your state and your country first. Put it ahead of your loyalty to this president. Minnesotans are in agony, watching their communities terrorized and families torn apart. ICE and CBP agents are traumatizing our communities, violating Minnesotans' constitutional rights, unlawfully detaining and arresting United States citizens, racially profiling people, forcing schools, restaurants, and businesses to close. And people are dying at the hands of these federal agents. It has to stop now before anyone else is hurt. And I return it to